G'day folks, Connor here from CW's Tech Reviews, back with another video, and today we're doing my full review of the Oppo watch. This is the 46mm version, so without further ado, hit the like button and the subscribe button and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. Okay, so to start off with, I'm just going to say I was really surprised by the Oppo watch and its move into the smart world of fitness tech. I mean, I was quite impressed with what I have here, and I'm going to go through why. But first, a couple of specs I just want to get out of the way. First one is Snapdragon 3100 coupled with the Micro Apollo Ambic wireless SoC. I'm pretty certain I mumbled that up, but go look it up and you'll see what I'm talking about. But 2 chipsets, so that's pretty cool. It also comes with 1GB of RAM and 8GB of storage. Built-in GPS, not connected GPS. 430 mAh battery, and more on that soon. Comes in with 5 atmospheres of water resistance, so that's 5 ATM. Again, more on that soon. You also have Bluetooth version 4.2, NFC for wireless payments, and 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. And then to top it off, for the build, you have glass on the front, ceramic on the back with some polycarbonate or plastic. And the strap is called fluoro rubber, which again is just really sort of some fancy way of saying plastic. So plastic, ceramic, glass and aluminium, and it really looks good. So for me, you put those specs aside and you want to look at how this operates in your day-to-day life. And I must say that for day-to-day use, this felt and looked really elegant. It would not be out of place in the corporate world or out on the running track tracking your running. It has a very nice look to it. It has no sharp or obtrusive edges. It's very smooth thanks to that curved glass. Very smooth on the back thanks to the ceramics. And the rubber, or fluoro rubber, whatever they've called it, is very smooth as well. So it's just an all-around smooth design. It's easy to wear in my sleep, so I don't worry about scratching my face with it. If I wear the Galaxy watch, I worry about scratching my face, so I actually don't wear this to bed. But the Oppo watch, I couldn't scratch myself with it if I tried. You have 2 buttons on the right hand side. One is a multi-purpose button and the other one is a home button, and they're very tactile. One's got a bit of green tint on it and the other one is just plain, but they're very tactile. You know when you've pressed them, there's no confusion. Just a really well-designed smartwatch, and look, it might look familiar to you, like maybe look like an Apple Watch, maybe. My only complaint is the clasp. They shouldn't deviate from an original watch clasp. There's no need to. And this one is fiddly. It's awkward to try and get on because it doesn't have that extra little clasp over the band. They could have done better with the clasp. But otherwise, beautiful look, beautiful design. Really elegant. Now the next part for me is really important because I do a lot of sport, and when I say sport I mean that sport where you're out by yourself doing your thing. So I do a lot of running, a lot of cycling and a lot of swimming to try and stay active. First of all, I'm going to tell you, with the running, it tracked my running very accurately. And when I compared it to Samsung Health on a smartphone, that was almost identical, and maybe there was like a 1% difference in the distance covered. So I don't know if it was Samsung Health that was out or the smartwatch. So that's really impressive for their first real sort of forte into the sort of $500 price range of smartwatches. Now I would cross the street from time to time, and if I look back through my maps, I can see that it has tracked me correctly while I'm crossing the street and taking little deviations throughout my running track. So it actually did track me very well down to the distance, the time and the pace, because I was also using another app as a bit of a coach, so it would tell me when to run at certain paces and certain speeds, and the watch tracked those speeds accurately as well. So for me, I'm really happy with the running of the Oppo watch. The tracking, it was really where it needed to be. It doesn't come with a lot of data, so you're going to have to just make do with that, and I'd say this isn't for the most serious of runners. If you're like a hardcore runner, you do a lot of training and do marathons and you really like to keep on top of all your technical data and maybe even do training and stuff like that, then you might want something a bit more running focused. But for your day-to-day sort of casual runner who just does it to stay fit and wants to track their general sort of progress, then this is going to be an amazing addition to you. Now it tracks 5 main types of exercise. So you've got running, fat burning, running fitness, cycling outdoors, walking outdoors, and swimming. Cycling and walking, my experience was the same as running. It tracked everything really well in terms of distance and speed and that sort of thing. Not a problem with it in that area. And in fact, again, down to 1% difference between this and my Samsung Health app, which I have found to be quite reliable over the years. Same with walking. It knew when I was walking and it would track my walking, and the distance was reliable, the time was reliable. A really solid experience for that general sort of GPS tracking. And it could also track my laps in terms of kilometers and break down each kilometer and tell me how fast I was for each one. Again, now I would have to say for me, swimming is the next part that I tested. And look, I only got to swim with it twice, but I think the results speak for themselves. The first time I did 10 laps of a 50-meter swimming pool. 1 lap of freestyle, 1 lap of breaststroke. And it tracked all 10 laps perfectly for the time it took me and the amount of laps and the total distance covered. It tracked really well, but it doesn't go into much detail again. So it left out my SWOLF. It also left out the style of swimming that I was doing. So whether I was doing freestyle or breaststroke, I mean, these were all left out. Again, they weren't left out accidentally. They're just not part of what it actually tracks. So I would like to see that. But the 5 ATM water resistance was fine. I had no problems with it outside of the water. No problems with it afterwards. Just rinse off the chlorine water or whatever water you've been swimming in. Rinse it off with fresh water and you're good to go. So if you're just a casual swimmer and you just want to keep a count of how many laps you're doing or for how long you're swimming, then this is going to be fine for you. Just not for your hardcore swimmer. So exercise, I'm going to give it a B+. You know, it leaves out some data, but most of the tracking is accurate, and I was pleasantly surprised with my experience with it. And that's using Google Fit, but also using the HeyTap Health app that comes from Oppo. Now it does also come with like all these other 5-minute exercise types that it can throw at you, and it gives you little displays on your watch face of how to do the exercises and how to get better and what you do, squats and lunges and all that sort of thing. But those 5-minute exercises were a little bit hokey pokey, and I'd say a bit more of a gimmick than an actual feature. And I can't see too many people stopping to do 8 lunges and then getting back to work or getting back to watching some TV. Yeah, nice thought, but probably not really good with the execution. But it does look good on that great display. Double-edged sword here with a display. It's dual curved, it's beautiful, it's good to look at in good lighting. Look at that. It just looks great. However, in bright sunlight when running, it's hard to see and it's not bright enough. It comes with 5 levels of brightness and 5 maxes out pretty quickly. I think you could easily add another couple of levels of brightness on top, but I think they were concerned about battery life. Because when I use this in full tracking mode, so Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, everything connected, doing my running in the morning and my exercise throughout the day, I get about between 24 and 36 hours of use out of it. So it says 36 hours and that would be at a stretch. And I'm not going to use it in low power saving mode to get 21 days use out of it, because if I wanted that sort of a watch, I would just wear my old school watch. 430 milliamp hour battery, charges really quickly as well. I think it's 1 hour and 15 minutes to get a full charge out of it. And it gets a full day. I mean, that's all I really need in the modern world where I'm surrounded by electricity. I only need a full day's charge. But if I ever went camping and didn't take a charger for more than 2 days, I would just have a paperweight attached to my wrist. I always look for consistency when it comes to the heart rate. Every smartwatch has a disclaimer that says this is not a medical device, and it's not. So you need to look at the consistency of its performance. Now, if I manually check my heart rate and it's around 60, but the watch is telling me it's 180, then the watch is inaccurate. However, if I'm running up a hill and I'm out of breath and the watch is telling me my heart rate's 180, it's probably quite accurate. And that's what I found with the Oppo watch. Whenever I was doing exercise, my heart rate would increase and the watch would track that accordingly. So I was quite happy with that. I'm looking for anomalies here. And then with that data, I might decide to go and see a doctor or adjust my training or something. But again, you're looking for consistent data. I was happy with the heart rate tracking. Also with the sleep tracking, if I went to bed at midnight and my alarm went off at 5, it would tell me I had 5 hours sleep. It would say that 1 hour was light, 1 hour was REM, and the rest was something else. And again, it was consistently correct with the amount of time I slept. I'm not sure about the finer details because I don't know how it knows that, and I don't know if it is correct. Because I don't know when I'm in REM mode or deep sleep mode. I just know I'm asleep. Look, also, if I was watching TV, say doing a bit of binge watching Vikings or something like that, it didn't actually track those 3 hours of binge TV as sleep. It knew I wasn't asleep. So I think, again, it's fairly consistent. When it comes to accuracy, not sure, but when it comes to consistency, it is spot on. The data synced well from the watch to Google Fit and also, like I said, to the Oppo app. So that was nice to see that coming through, and it was fairly, like, it would update every hour or so and the information was accurate. The notifications are not intrusive. You can decide how they are delivered to the watch. You can choose between about 15 different watch faces. You can also take a photo of what you're wearing, and then your watch will determine what sort of a watch face to put on according to the address sense. Go figure. Not something I would use, but pretty cool if you're a bit of a trendsetter. Overall, how would I rate the Oppo watch? B+. That's where I'm putting it. And I think that's a really good result for their first sort of big dive into fitness trackers and smartwatches. It looks great. It feels great. It's really nice to wear. It's not out of place in most environments. The tracking is really consistent. The GPS tracking was spot on most of the time. Like I'm talking like 99% of the time. It was tracking me correctly. I couldn't really fault that. Same with the distance, the time, the speed, my pace, all that sort of thing. I think really, really good job by Oppo. Needs a bit more data. I think the data that it collects there could be more in it. Like I said, more swim data, more running data. For the more serious sports person, you would appreciate more data. The display could be a little bit brighter, but overall I'm really impressed. And I actually have to send this back, which is a bit of a bummer because it's something I could easily keep. Looks good, feels good, works well, no problems. I didn't have any stutters with the software. It was easy to navigate, so you're just sort of swiping up, down and side to side. You've got your couple of buttons there on the side to help navigate as well. It's just a really, really pleasant experience, and I think we're only going to see better and better things from Oppo, just like we did with their smartphones. They entered the smartphone world and had some really good results, and they've just built on it, and now they have some amazing products on the market. Same thing's going to happen with these smartwatches from Oppo. Watch this space, they're just going to get better and better. That's my video on the Oppo watch. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Check ya!